All right, basketball fans, welcome back to Fantasy Insider. It is Rick Kamla, it is Dennis Scott, and the newest member of our team, Dr. Phil McDonald. No, it's not a joke. We have our own Dr. Phil here on NBA TV. Doc, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Rick. I'm humbled, man.
So it's good to have you here. So we're here talking injuries, and I know y'all love Dennis and I speculating about these injuries, when these guys are going to be back, but we actually have a doctor here who's going to break down these injuries like basically MRI style, and you are not the physician working on these players, but tell the people at home what you do and why they should listen to you.
Well, I'm a physician. I'm a radiologist, and as a radiologist, we read the x-rays, the CT scans, the MRIs. If you ever go to the emergency room, you have an injury, we're the first one that actually sees the scan before the patient can be released. We actually see the scan and make sure everything is going right inside. So we have the x-ray vision pretty much.
So we got an expert here in our studio. And let's start with mallet finger. I've heard this term before. I don't know what the heck it means, okay? David Lee with the USA basketball program, first practice, literally like a half hour in, suffers this mallet finger, obviously not with USA in Turkey. Break down this injury, what it is, and when we're going to see David Lee again.
Okay, I feel sorry for my man David Lee. He used to play for the Knicks, but the mallet finger pretty much is one of the most common injuries in the finger. Pretty much your tendons connect your muscles to your bones. If a tendon is ripped, sometimes it pops, it'll actually tear a piece of the bone with it. In David Lee's case, or anybody's case that has mallet finger, it's the distal knuckle, which means the knuckle furthest away from the body. And it took a piece of the bone. So if it's not fixed or it's not splinted, it can actually be permanently fixed like this.
So it's stuck for the rest of his life?
Yeah, it's like a swan. They call it looks like a swan's neck, so they call it a swan neck deformity if he doesn't get it fixed. However, he got it splinted, took about 6 weeks or 2 months. That way he can't play while it heals. Once it heals, he's fine. The flip side of that is if it's more than 50% of the surface, he has to have surgery. He just had to have it splinted. Wow. So he should be good come training camp, and he should be good to pick up, I would say, early in the draft. However, I don't know if you want to talk about Kobe. Kobe, I think, had a case like that of untreated mallet finger. Well,
David Lee treated his. Kobe kept playing on his. So, yeah, explain that difference.
So Kobe, they actually said, had 2 fractures, 2 avulsion fractures when it rips off the bones, called an avulsion. So I'm thinking that's more than 50% of the surface. If not, regardless, they splinted it and they said it healed. Kobe still got Western Conference of the Month player in December, also was NBA MVP for the finals. So
he's a warrior.
Exactly.
He's a warrior, too.
Warrior of the year, I would say, right?
No question about that. Now, for the people at home, if that happens to them playing pickup game, how long would that take them?
6 weeks.
6 weeks?
6 weeks if they splint it. Okay. If they don't splint it, they may be stuck, with the ugly finger.
But the key is splinting that bad boy and then not picking up that ball for almost 2 months.
That is the key. But Kobe, however, had an incredible tape job, which is fine, and it did heal. However, after every game, if you do not, if you're not playing, you don't have to worry about the swelling and stuff. After every game, he's playing, practices, they have to squeeze it. I liken it onto like a toothpaste. When you're trying to squeeze out that last bit of toothpaste and you're squeezing it. That's what they did after every game. And so this knuckle, which wasn't injured, the middle knuckle, is now the one that took the brunt of the injury. Even though this one healed, this is the one that's arthritic because of all the pressure and squeezing after every game.
Crazy, crazy. Well, obviously, there's no nerve endings in a tube of toothpaste. There's lots of nerve endings in Kobe Bryant's. And by the way, this on Kobe Bryant, that's the most important trigger finger in the entire league.
No question about it. Leading scorer, you're shooting free throws, three-pointers. I mean, it's amazing to see Kobe play through that now, to see how David Lee recovers from it.
Well, and we transition now to Andrew Bogut, totally different injury, and it's one of the worst injuries we've ever seen, frankly. You think of Kenyon Martin back in college, you think of Sean Livingston a couple of years ago, and the one with Andrew Bogut here just ruining his right arm. What was it, a sprained wrist, a finger injury, and a dislocated elbow?
Yeah, but the thing with the dislocation, you can either have a clean dislocation or a very nasty one in his case, where you have fractures. You have 2 bones in your forearm. You have your radius and you have your ulna. He fractured the radius and the ulna. When you do that, you actually it's more complicated of a fracture to deal with. Problem with this injury is pretty scary. If he dislocates it again, it may be permanent.
Wow. You mean like it'll never go back in place?
Well, even the way it is right now, it could still be incomplete, meaning that, not incomplete, but his range of motion won't ever come back fully. It may not come back fully. So, I mean, he still may have, be able to lay it up. He's a righty. That's what happened. But he can still go left. So that's a good thing about his game. So the only problem with that is that if it gets redislocated again, it may be permanent. And the thing with him, I actually heard that he said he doesn't want to come back 85%. Right. He wants to be 100% when he comes back. So he may come back around December, All-Star break. And I think Drew Gooden in that case may be a better pickup because, you know, he may give you double-double easy.
Good point.
Well, I want to ask you this, because Bogut was on, you know, just going up the ladder each year. Have we seen him top out now? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Is he going to keep getting better, or is he now going to plateau and maybe be on the downside?
Yeah, I actually picked him up with a trade. I suckered somebody into trading him. I actually picked up McGetty and Bogut with a trade.
Wow, you're a doctor and your fantasy stats? That's unbelievable.
But he brings up a good point. So this Bogut injury, if he waits till he's 100%, now he may feel more comfortable to get back playing the kind of basketball he was playing before the injury. Or if he comes back too fast, he may not be the same player.
Actually, if he comes back too fast, he doesn't get those muscles around his elbow stronger, he can actually dislocate it and his career is done.
Wow.
Which would be, you know, I'd rather wait. I mean, the Bucks, as long as the Bucks get into the playoffs, with the type of talent they have in their roster, they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, they added McGetty. Salmers may be coming back most likely. They got Jennings, who's probably get better. You have Drew Gooden. You know, they have a good squad. So I feel they're going to get to the playoffs regardless. So why not wait? And then, you know, he'll be good come, you know, playoffs. Yeah,
and all the moves they made, they're three deep at every position right now, including the big spots. So, Andrew, take your time, get well. We want you to be that 15-10 guy that you were last year. Now, we move on with a pair of left patella injuries, starting with Blake Griffin. This is his rookie year. Talk to us about the injury that kept him out all 82 games last year. And the prognosis, is it positive? Is it iffy or what?
I think it's good. What he had was a stress fracture that didn't heal as he wanted to. Micro damage, pretty much is micro damage that overexceeds the rate for repair. So eventually you'll get like a line on the bone. When you see that line, it's called a hairline fracture or incomplete fracture, also called a stress fracture. However, it's on a continuum, so that means it can progress to a full-blown fracture, which is what Odin has. Now back to Blake Griffin, is pretty much he had a stress fracture. They were doing physical therapies in the pool and everything, and they're just trying to make it heal. Then they took an X-ray and they saw it wasn't healing as they wanted it to heal. So they said, okay, you know, we're gonna have to pin it. So they have, you know, a pin. They pinned it together, so they healed it for him pretty much, rather than wait. And when you pin it, that's 6 months. That's why he was out for the year. But as you know, he's back playing again. You know, he's in practice shooting around.
Now, you say pin it. Now, is this something that's permanent? Now, is this something that he has to wait? Does he have to build the muscles around the knee to keep it strong? Or can he go back out there and get back to playing Blake Griffin basketball?
He's good. He's good. But the thing is that, he has a pin. He may see it on the, you know, he goes to the airport, they may have to wand his knee or whatever. He's good. I mean, he's good. I mean, the thing is, I saw that dude jumps. When he jumps, he's so explosive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's so explosive. So the thing I'd be scared about, the good thing is that they pinned it. If they didn't pin it, I would say he's prone to getting an injury like Greg Oden had. Because when your quads, when they actually, when you're jumping with that type of force, like how he dunked on Menga.
Yes, sir.
You know, you're pulling.
Everybody remembers that.
Yeah, you're actually pulling that knee apart. And that's exactly what happened with Odin. Odin probably had a stress fracture. I think he chipped his knee.
He did.
Earlier, like I think February of last year, 2009. And then he fractured it when he jumped or whatever. It just totally pulled it off.
Wow.
So they didn't want that to happen to Blake. So they said, you know what, let's just pin it. He's out for the season, but at least he won't, you know. In the case with Greg Oden, I don't think they picked up that it was a stress fracture. These sometimes fractures are very hard to see. And,
they should have had you looking at the MRI.
I would have had it, man.
Eagle-eyed Dr. Phil.
All right.
So just quickly back on Blake. 75-plus games, should we feel confident about that?
I feel confident, man. The guy's young. You know, I feel that with the pinning it, I think that actually adds extra force. Maybe he wears a knee brace, or maybe, you know, he gets more strengthening on the back muscles as well as the front muscles. And then, you know, I think he should be good, just as long as he's balancing out his physical therapy and they bring him along good. I think I would draft him pretty, you know, mid-round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on Odin, the new general manager of the Portland Trailblazers, Rich Cho, recently said that there is no timetable for his return.
Yeah.
They don't know when he's going to be ready. I guess they think he's eventually going to be ready, but clear this up. When are we going to see Greg Oden, and is he going to be G.O.?
Well, I don't know. I think it's a very tough injury. The patella tendon, this guy has a patella tendon involved with the fracture. It's, you know, patella is just floating right in the knee. You can touch it. And when you have that tendon, that's a very slow injury to heal. Kenyon Martin actually has a patella tendon injury. So Kenyon Martin, as well as Azubuike from
We're taking these people to school right now. Look at this.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I were you, I would go with Camby personally. If Camby doesn't get injured, he's perfect pickup. Perfect pickup, because I know he's gonna get you the rebounds, he's gonna get you the blocks, he's gonna get you the scores. Odin, you know.
So they're going to ease him in regardless, right?
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, they have enough talent in their squad where, as I said, you know, in terms of real basketball, they're going to make the playoffs most likely.
Should Portland be nervous about Greg Oden now because he's had so many injuries this young in his career?
Yeah, I mean, if I was them, I would have went with Durant, picking him.
A lot of people think that, Doc. A lot of people think that, and, of course, Portland's history speaks for itself. But for the guy being so big, the bigger the body, does the recovery take longer as well?
It can, with the weight, and also everybody's different. So, I mean, their recovery time is in terms of how tall they are, how much weight they're putting on it, how much stress they have on it. It all plays. It all plays. And if they're that diligent with their rehab, they could be slacking off.
Well, and let's talk about Yao Ming now as we kind of bounce around talking about bigs here. We're all concerned about Yao, and obviously playing, you know, the summers with the Chinese national team and then trying to make it through full seasons with Houston just has not worked out. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is the third injury, same injury to the same foot. Am I right about that?
Correct, but different bone, I believe. It's called the navicular bone. It's like about the size of 2 inches. You see it right there with a little. I don't know if you can.
With the crack in it right here?
With the crack in it right there, exactly. The problem with this bone is that it has a high propensity not to heal.
Really?
Due to vascular supply. In the center of it, there's least blood vessels flowing through that area. So if you don't have any blood there, then it can't get all the cells there to heal it properly. So it won't ever attach to it by itself. It won't like heal it by itself. So they have to pin it. Problem with that bone, and you know, he's not, you know, a regular weekend warrior playing ball. This guy is going to be playing ball for the rest of his life, or you know, for the rest of his career.
Going up against Dwight Howard, he needs 2 healthy feet.
Pounding, yeah. He looks like he's kind of flat-footed. So I don't know if he has the same. He probably puts a lot of stress on that bone. That's why he's probably more prone to fracturing it. If he fractures it again, this injury. This is why they were speculating. They didn't want to jump right into. Okay, what should we do? Because they said they know this injury is career-ending for certain athletes. So you know, he's back. That's great that he's back and he can still play. But the 82-game season, or I don't know how many games it is now, but
82 games preseason. So it may be a situation where they may limit his practice and just save him for the game, so it'd be less wear and tear on him.
Or actually rest him. So I mean, for fantasy-wise, you know, you think he's playing. Next thing you know, oh, we decided to sit down Yao Ming.
There you go.
You lose like 20-10.
Well, Daryl Morey's already said that they're considering resting him in the second of back-to-backs. They're going to limit his practice time. It's bad news for Yao Ming in terms of fantasy. I mean, we want to see him out on the court. We want to see Yao be Yao, and even if it's 60 games, but 60 games isn't making fantasy money.
Yeah, I feel they're going to stuff him, you know, so they can have him for the for the playoffs. And, you know, for a 7-game series, they can actually manage that better than for a 2-game series. You know, as long as he's in the middle.
Brad Miller, Scola playing well.
Oh, yeah, Brad Miller,
So, you know, maybe the Rockets can weather the storm and get Yao in there. But that doesn't work for me in fantasy if I have him on my team.
He's definitely going to be.
I wouldn't pick him up.
You know, he was a second-round pick type of guy. I think you're going to have to downgrade him a little bit. In the 4-game weeks, probably going to be able to get him out there because 4 maybe go down to 3. But if it's a 3-game week and then it's down to 2 if he has a DNP, very, very dicey situation with Yao Ming. But not dicey with Dr. Phil McDonald. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, Doc, we appreciate your time.
Thanks, man.
Hopefully we see you here throughout the season.
Appreciate it.
That is Dr. Phil McDonald. This is Fantasy Insider on NBA TV. We'll be back with much, much more right after this.
All right.